So we're looking at Grail, who makes this like blood test, right? And the blood test can tell if you have cancer, which is kind of amazing. Yeah, telomeres are not something like... Oh, there are telomere disorders. That is true. But they're very, very rare, and they don't tell us anything about... Well, they tell us a little bit about aging, but nothing that useful. All right, so they do this test. And it's a really cool test, actually. It's kind of what some people call a liquid biopsy. And they can test for very small amounts of CTCs, or circulating tumor cells, and different mutations. So they can actually tell what mutation your very small cancer might have. And if you know you have a very small cancer, you can probably get it surgically removed before it gets to become a big cancer. So this is a really cool product, and I think it's going to be really big. It's not that big right now. You can see it's about 120. 120 in revs. Yeah, we'll look into it, Finn, exactly how. But I do think it's some kind of, I mean, it came from Illumina, so it's some kind of sequencer, NGS kind of test. I think, I mean, if you just do NGS for like the EGFR mutants and VEGF mutants and stuff like that, KRAS mutants, like, at the end of the day, you're going to get a pretty good sense of some of the mutations that could be occurring, and give the doctors and patients a heads up to hopefully get this thing done in stage 1 instead of stage 4, especially for something like pancreatic or whatever. I mean, pancreatic, there's a set of mutations that are fairly canonical, I want to say, TP53 and stuff like that. Vivek is Blanco Chapo approved, yes. I mostly take requests from these users, and then I go, there's a free chat, and then there's the YouTube chat. So I don't have the time usually to do it all, because I also have a day job, which I'll be going to in about an hour or two. But yeah, I think Sava, SAVA, has to be like the best short I've seen in years. Like, this is literally free money. You heard it here first. But when will the results come out? What day? How do you short it? Do you buy puts? Big question, lots of questions, right? But yeah, no, I think it's a gigantic short. I'm a founder of a software company called DL Software. So it's a company I helped start. But we're hiring, by the way, if any of you guys are really talented full stack engineers. We're only really hiring engineers right now, but someday we'll hire non-engineers. And when I say engineer, I mean software engineer. So this is just crazy to me. And it could be one of those things where spin-offs and IPOs, like I said, are really misvalued. But and again, I feel like a bit of an idiot here, which should be less of an uncommon feeling. But if you see this, I mean, this should stick out at you as like odd, right? Let me get my ugly mug out of the way for a second. It's an $11 stock, 31 million shares outstanding, so the market cap's 340 million. I think the shares outstanding is probably a little higher. It's like probably 35 or something like that. But they have $1 billion of cash. So you're buying a company that's worth 300 million with $1 billion in cash. So you're getting their business for free. Their business is this Shkreli test, which I mentioned is kind of a neat product for sure. I think there has to be more shares outstanding. I don't know if that deferred tax liability is that concerning. They're just burning a lot. I think that might be the contemplated in the stock price. Just a massive burn. I like this paid in capital, 12.2 billion. Jesus Louises, that's a lot of money. I don't know if that's real money that went into the company. It must be. They put $12 billion in the company, and you get to buy it for 300 million. Kind of interesting. No, this is a real company. It's not. I don't really worry about the stock market as a whole. I worry about just individual stocks. Nobody can really tell what's going to happen to the stock market as a whole, at least not for long periods of time. It's too dynamic. There are too many things happening at once to really get a solid sense for the system. You can get the sense for maybe a few months or something like that, but it's really not worth it for the average person to think about it. I swear to God, Kitty, if you don't get out of here, we're going to have Kitty fried rice. Okay, fine. You know what? You have a couple treats. You have a couple treats. There you go. There you go. All right. Here. Okay, you don't want them? Fine. I'll eat them. Okay, I guess I see why. The stock looks optically so cheap. I mean, if you're burning 200 million a quarter, that will put a dent in any balance sheet, right? It's just a huge footprint of a company because their scope is so big, right? Like this is like basically this going to solve cancer, but like they're convinced, but you know, that doesn't mean that everybody else is convinced. And clearly the market's pretty unconvinced, right? Don't you guys find that fascinating? This company has $1 billion on the balance sheet, right? So they have basically what I would argue is the solution for cancer. Oh man, Oscar, that's a tough one. I'm sorry, it's not funny either, right? It's not funny. But it's a bit of a Theranos situation there, right? So yeah, let's zoom in a little bit here. 959 in cash, right? Last quarter, they burned 186, but on the cash flow statement, I think they're burning just about that. Maybe a tiny bit less, but just about that. Pirate wires is the teal thing. So if they have the same burn, they will have 600 million at the end of the year. We're pretty close to the end of the year. The market cap's 340. Could they cut their spending? don't know how their spending has gone up so much, but it's a really good product in my opinion. Oh, we don't ever forget Harambe. We don't ever forget Harambe. Yeah, they did the billion. They put the billion in. And now Grail has to figure out how to be a publicly traded company without imploding. Yeah, typically when a stock looks really, really cheap, there's some catch to it. You just got to find the catch. The catch here is that they're burning so much money that there's a decent chance they just burn through all of it. It's really fascinating. I don't know, I really like it. They just have to get their shit together. Like, this is a really unbelievable cost structure. Yeah, I got the Pepe pin somewhere. I have time to work out, I wish. It's more like effort to work out, not time. I got time, I just don't have the effort. I don't have anyone to beat up, you know? If I had somebody to beat up, I would work out, but okay, with the Shkreli cost reduction plan, they can get their expenses down. Yeah, I don't know. I like the way I am just right now. Of course, I wish I could do 1,000 pull-ups, push-ups, and lift 100 pounds curls and all that, but at the end of the day, I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna let you do that, all right? I'm gonna let you do that. Skeleton gang. You guys know Skeletor? So most of you are too young for Skeletor. Destiny's downfall. Oh, I'm so happy. Apparently he apologized to me. What a piece of shit, man. Apologizing 2 years too late. Better late than never, I guess. He lied about me. He said that I rugged a project. And then he changed his tune when I confronted him. But it's like, dude, you know, when you have a big megaphone with millions of people listening to you, you can really, you know, hurt somebody by saying something that's inaccurate. And it's like, the fuck, dude? Just how hard is it not to be a scumbag? Just call me and be like, hey, what happened here, man? Like, we have a friendship, we know each other. That pissed me off, man. And you know, karma comes around pretty good. Anyway, let's focus here. Destiny is a stripper. Destiny is a stripper I met. Bisexual stripper with blue hair. Okay. Yeah, I hope to get married, absolutely. Her name is Mira Marathi. I actually don't know if I can marry Mira. There might be some Albanian rule against it. I don't know. I think that they have to lower their costs, right? Like, they cannot keep going like this. Okay, so basically, actually, it's not that bad. They just kind of have this insane cost footprint at the moment. This G&A is just enormous for what they are. Yeah, this looks like a good long. I like Grail. I'm not a diagnostics expert, and I know there's other companies kind of doing this, but I think this is going to be a really big space. There are other publicly traded companies doing this, actually. Guardant is the other one, right? Guardant's struggled a bit too, I think. I mean, Guardant's got a much bigger market cap than Grail. CFA is good. TradingView doesn't really have a command line. They're not going to do lots of different asset classes. They don't really do news. Like, TradingView is not a terminal. It's a good chart program for sure, but you know, they also open sourced their chart program, so I don't know. Yeah, I think that's something. That's right, Chetan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Something like that is right. No, I like this. I mean, you can buy Guardant for $3 billion, or this thing for a fraction. Guardant has, I think, more revenue. Yeah, Guardant has like 4 times the revenue. But Grail will catch up, I think. Interesting. Yeah, no, of course we have charts on Godel. But you can get charts anywhere, you know. It's like very, very easy to get charts. And I think we could just put in the TradingView chart component, because like TradingView made it so that like anybody can use charts. Yeah, so you can see here that the thing IPO'd in June 25th. It's just kind of been neutral / dead. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's like run out and buy it, but it's okay. Is TradingView's chart poorly optimized for performance? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I mean, that's right. Disinterested. They're They're doing this massive study. I mean, that's why these guys are really interesting. Like, 140,000 people. Damn. That's a trial. Never heard of a trial this big. And basically, like, everyone who's going to be everyone's 55 or older, including some of us might get older. We'll be taking this biopsy once a year, and it can tell, like, oh, you have 10 cancer cells. We're gonna do a CAT scan to find the cancer and cut it out. You know, that's much, much better than losing a loved one to cancer that just grows and grows and grows. We all kind of have these tiny cancers. It's just a question of if our immune system finds them. So, huge study there. Okay, somebody mentioned Cintas, Orgo, Hims, Delcath. Okay, that's a lot. Maybe I should write them all down somewhere. Cintas is a company that makes like uniforms and like fire alarms and stuff like that. It's a really interesting company, actually. Okay, then somebody mentioned Absolera, Square, and ACET. Somebody mentioned GitLab. Somebody mentioned Dollar General. FedEx.